Welcome to the Thin Blue Line Outdoors Podcast.
This pig came bottling.
Just ended up puking last night. It sucked.
Whoa! Ah!
We got it, we wrap it in tinfoil, throw it over the fire.
I don't know about you. I laugh every time.
Every time that opening comes on, it makes me giggle every single time.
Every time. That was a good day. But hey, everyone, we're back. I know I've been on about a few week hiatus. Busy hunting, holiday season, all that good stuff. And I wanted to save Podcast 100 with one of the core team members. And Jesse has not been on the podcast for a while. So
100!
The redneck is here, which I'm super excited. You guys have not seen him too much this season, which we're going to talk about that here in a second.
Yeah,
but I'm happy. It's hard to believe. It's Podcast 100. It's about 2 years, not quite 2 years in the making. You know, we do really good for a while, then we take a break, come back really strong. This year
we are a hunting platform, right? So when hunting season comes out, it's more about hunting and filming and getting out in the woods than it is podcasting.
Correct. And I'll definitely say podcast is like our number two, which we're more focused on the videos. The podcast is the number two thing. But I do like doing the podcast. Honestly, it just gives me the reason to bullshit it and talk about hunting. So that's always good. And I've yet to have a bad guess. So, it's always good to talk about hunting. So Jesse, let's just get this fiasco going. How's your Wisconsin deer season treating you?
Well, let's start off with saying this is my first full season in Wisconsin.
Mm-hmm.
So last year I still had Illinois tags as I bought when I was a resident in Illinois, and my resident license that I bought as a resident in Illinois.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was grandfathered in to be able to hunt that season. Great time, bucked out in Illinois, first time I ever did that.
Yeah.
First full year in Wisconsin. I had a few goals in mind. One is I wanted to actually see a deer in Wisconsin, right, while hunting. Never done that.
Yep.
Two, I wanted to try to find access to private land. I dabbled in public land last year, which was a whole nother fiasco of losing car keys. And then third, I wanted to go on a rifle hunt. Wisconsin uses rifle, Illinois is mainly shotgun. And so that's what I want to do. And then I wanted to get my boys and myself out more. And I'd also would have wanted to get a deer, of course. So we'll start with the positives of this hunting season. I got the boys out a lot. I went out a lot. I got access to private land now, which is like 15, 20 minutes from my house, which helped with those first two.
Mm-hmm.
I saw a deer in Wisconsin, and the coolest moment from this season is opening weekend. I took my boys out. It was hot. I mean, we walked 100 yards into this public land. I popped up my tent, set them up in their chairs, got their snacks. So I said, okay, guys, we're going to sit here till dark. And that was it. And as we're getting ready to pack up, because my son, we just needed to go. We got out of the tent, and there was a deer about 100 yards away from us. And that's the first deer in Wisconsin I've seen hunting, but it's also the first deer my boys have ever seen while hunting. And after that, they were hooked. They kept asking to come out there. So that was like awesome. So that was what my brightest moment from the year. Okay. And so with all those positives, I still haven't gotten a deer yet in Wisconsin. And it's not a lack of opportunity, unfortunately. So at this private spot, I got access to kind of late September, early October. Me and the boys did everything. I made sure to include them in the whole process. We went out there. We scouted together. It's a little... when I'm talking about it's a small plot, guys, it's a small plot.
Mm-hmm.
We scouted the whole thing, put cameras up, picked out a spot for a blind. Then I got a climber I put into a tree, and I actually did get a ladder stand I put in there, right? So we had the setup going. First time the boys and I go out there, have two does. We're sitting in this blind facing east, have two does come from the south. Kind of jumped on us quick, because I didn't have one of the windows open that I should have had open to see them sooner. Right? And so I don't have a tripod out there for my GoPro. Super excited. There's a deer close to us, the boys. I'm going to get a shot off here. As I'm doing that and I see the deer come in, I tap Marshall, my oldest, on the leg, say, hey, deer, 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 deer. Turn on the camera, hand him the camera. I said, just stick it out the window. As we're doing that, not only am I like making some extra noise, getting the boys to look, he's also like making noise, trying to like not stand up, but stand up to record. And then the camera's just moving in the window of the blind. And this deer's 10 yards from me, turns frontal, and I make the judgment call at that point in time. I have a fixed broadhead. 10 yards away, frontal shot. Is the frontal shot like a shot I'm going to take ever again? Probably not. But in all counts,
Yeah.
if I would have done it right, I should have met dead deer. Instead, I biffed the shot, right? I grazed the underbelly of the deer. That deer survived, right? There's no doubt in my mind that is still a live deer. That's how bad I biffed the shot. But negative is I just biffed that shot in front of my boys, and we found blood. And so we're super. What?
You're good. I don't know what just happened to my light.
What are you doing? Is your house haunted?
No, I'm trying to get. My wife wants her phone charger, and I don't know what just happened. Well, I got this.
So anyway, while Boom's taking care of the missus there with the phone charger, found blood. Boys are super stoked. And I went out and tracked next morning. Metal blood, didn't find the deer.
It's still upstairs.
Take it about a couple days later, and I'm in my climber stand. I have a doe come from behind me. Does not give me a chance to draw back. Shot. And then my latest endeavor. Should I tell the whole story about this? Or?
Well, I don't know if I would talk. I would say your debate with a neighbor, but I definitely think you should say what kind of happened.
Okay.
You had a conversation with the neighbor.
So the first deer I shot, I had a conversation
permission
with the neighbor, talked about tracking the deer on his land, got permission that if I shoot a deer and it goes onto his land, I can go track it. Right? I just got to let him know I'm going on there.
Yeah.
So fast forward to November, right?
Yep.
I'm back in my blind spot. Same thing happens. Two does come screaming up. This time it's just me. I have enough, like the proper windows open. I'm sitting more to the left side of my blind. Draw back. I have the REK broadhead on there. Like, let's let it eat. Shoot. Whack. Stick the deer. See the arrow sticking out of her. She's bucking and all that stuff. She kicks the arrow off. She runs. She beds down right on this guy's property line. I'm like, great. Done deer, right? A little while after that, she gets up and walks off into this guy's property. So I'm like, okay. Like, everything sounded good, looked good. Here we go. This is going to be fantastic. I'm just going to wait about 45 minutes to an hour before I go. So I text that guy, say, hey, shot a deer on your land. I'm going to go track it, just so you know. Well, as I'm looking through, I'm like, well, why didn't that arrow go all the way through? It was a great, like, right in the vitals. It should have passed through that deer. The deer is broadside. I noticed I clipped my blind on the way out. I was too focused on my aiming point on the deer to notice my cross strand here for the blind. So then the broadhead was expanded already as it went in. Now I'm going to give the REK broadheads credit here. That thing still went, right? That thing still did high damage to that deer.
Yeah. You still hit where you were aiming and all that good stuff.
All of it. Didn't throw the arrow off track, none of it. And still got good penetration, right?
Yep.
So let's fast forward here. I wait the hour and I go in, I start tracking. I have really, really good blood right from the get-go. Track up and I have my bow drawn. Next thing I hear is a deer get up and jump and go. I'm like, dude, I just kicked it up. What's going on? This thing could be dead. But then I'm standing on, it's like I'll just sit here on this log for another hour and I'll track it again.
Yep.
Literally, as I'm sitting there and I'm getting ready to move again to go look for the deer, the landowner that I have permission from texts me and says, hey, if you're hunting, I'm sorry, it's about to be ruined by a bunch of lights and sirens. The neighbor just passed away. So the neighbor that I texted that morning about tracking just died suddenly. And I said, "Oh, well, I'm actually on his land right now tracking deer." We both agreed at that point in time I should just probably get over there and go back to the house and wait it out. And that's what I did.
Mhm.
May that guy rest in peace.
Mhm.
Yeah. And anyway, that was just really freaky because I'm like, I'm on his land. I got to get out of here. I was like, what do I do? You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And so then, anyway, I wait like an hour and a half with her, go back to track it, kick it up again. And this is probably 4 to 5 hours after I shot it. Decided to go have lunch with the family. As I'm sitting down and I've ordered my food, it starts downpouring where I'm at, which is about 10 minutes from where I hunt at. Luckily, I marked my trail with toilet paper, found the trail, and by some miracle found another speck of blood. Kicked it up one more time, and that was it. After that, I couldn't find anything else. And it actually went on to somebody else's property at that point in time. 8 hours afterwards, she was still kicking and moving. So talking with Boom, talking through everything. I think what happened was I got one lung. I didn't get to both. Unfortunately, that's a dead deer, and I wasn't able to cover it. Yeah, that part sucked.
Mhm.
That part sucked.
I have heard of one lung deer somehow making it, but I would just assume she's probably dead. Would be my guess.
Yeah, I think there was just too much
blood
for me to say, yeah, which is very, very unfortunate.
Mm-hmm.
But with all that, I've learned, gained access to a spot I didn't have access before. My boys are learning. We're out. I got one more time in going out. Bow season ends up here January 6th, which is Sunday. So I'm going to go out the 5th, Saturday morning, and try to get something done.
Now, real quick, did you go rifle hunting in the end?
Yes. So I actually got invited up to my wife's family's, the Arnett family's deer camp up in central Wisconsin. We hunted the Schwamigan National Forest, but then we also hunted, I guess he's my uncle-in-law. He has a little bit of private land there as well. So we kind of flip-flop.
Mm-hmm.
Not a lot of success. And from what we heard from people up there in the area, it was a slow year. In total, I saw 1.25 deer. I saw the ass of one deer about 60 yards on a crossing a trail behind me. And then immediately after, the second one went. And I heard the neighbor shooting. That was it. So had a hell of a time, though. It was fun, right? I mean, deer camp. Didn't miss the red coat and ash. Didn't miss that this year. Yeah. But still had a good time. So my season's not done yet. But as of December 30th, that's my recap of the year.
Yeah. Did anybody in your group get one?
No. Only people that saw one. We saw one the first night at the Schwamigan National Forest. We're pretty sure that 2 guys saw the same deer. And that was it. Really? Nothing else. We actually had guys go out. So I came back Monday. We had some guys go out like Tuesday, Wednesday, and I think the Friday after Thanksgiving, and still no success.
Damn.
Yeah.
Well, there's still hope yet. And as we were just talking before the podcast, we're both getting pictures still of deer on trail cameras. Yep. So, there's still hope. And either way, you got private land next year.
Yeah, and so I work with the landowner, and they've given me full access to do whatever I want. So if I want to put a food plot in, I can. If I want to trim up trees and do all that, I can, which is awesome. Like free reign. Now, is there areas where I think I could put a food plot? Not really. But is there definitely areas I could clean up and kind of cut some trails? Yeah. The nice thing is the last time I went out there hunting was the 23rd. Walked out to find my blind blown over. So I just sat in my chair in some tall grass in the snow, which I don't even care. I needed that. Like, when you leave the woods, you don't really care if you want to see something, you want to have opportunity, but it doesn't even matter if you don't. It was one of those. Yep. I took the opportunity then to go kind of walk the property because I could actually see trails now, right? So I kind of followed, and they're doing mostly what I thought they were doing.
Mhm.
But then I found a trail that cuts kind of through the middle of the property, actually. They plant a garden every year. So
Mhm.
like vegetables and all that stuff, and you can tell that's the deer are just going to go. They're eating that even in the winter right now. So I have thought I could put my climber in. If not, I can move that ladder stand I have over there too. So it's just nice to have a new spot to put
Good.
up there.
Good. I'm excited, especially like being that small property. I definitely think early October is a good time for you to at least fill the freezer with the dough. I think,
Yeah. Well, you
mistakes
forget,
happen.
boom. I can go out September.
Oh yeah, I do forget.
Yes.
Because I'm always jealous when September rolls around. That's true. That is true. I'm going to call it right now. Next year, just to be the first one on the team to get a deer down. I'm calling
I'm
it.
knocking on wood right now.
I'm calling it right now. We'll play this podcast back.
We'll rerun it. Run it back.
Yeah, run it back. Well, that's your update. I
Yeah.
know I'll give a little update of just what's happened to me here lately. We'll go back to the second Illinois firearm season. Honestly, had a really good 4 days of hunting. Friday it was coldest day I had hunted all year. Still from now, that was the coldest day by far. Friday morning it was freezing. I almost didn't go. I talked myself. I'm like, I might as well go. And sure enough, I had 2 does come out. I had a little buck come out, and then I had 2 does come out. One was a big mature doe. Had my brand new CVA 350 Legend. First time, using a straight wall cartridge rifle that is legal now in Illinois.
How'd you feel about that?
Loved it. And
Yeah.
so, the year before, well, I should say, actually in 2024, it was the last day of deer season. Team member Josh Atkins let me borrow his, and I made a 140-yard shot in doe that day.
Did you feel weird carrying it out? Like, I feel like I'm doing something wrong.
Dude, a little bit. And honestly, the CVA, a lot of people go into like these AR style models with the 350 Legend. And honestly, I don't know if it's just because I am a cop. Like, I have an AR. I don't want to carry anything else that looks like an AR. I'm off duty. I don't want to think about work or anything like that. So what I like about the CVAs, they truly look like a hunting rifle, and they look like a 22. Very small, very compact, very lightweight. And so anyway, I killed that deer last year with his. I went out and bought pretty much the same exact model, except I bought the blued model, it's called. And, that Friday morning, that doe came out at 80 yards. It was anywhere between 60 and 80. Smoked her. I knew the shot was good. Good video, all that good stuff. When I went walking out there, you can see my wife keep walking in the background.
Hi, Alicia.
Yeah. Jessie says hi. She says hi back.
You got your headphones and she can't hear.
Yeah. Anyway, she, one thing I've heard about the 350 Legend is not a lot of blood. I get out there and there was blood everywhere, and I get on the blood. I'm like, okay, good. I got good blood. I look up and I can see the white belly. She only ran like 30, 40 yards. So, like, sweet.
Nice.
As I was dragging her out and doing my interview over her, there was a big buck chasing on the neighbors, chasing does. So I just lay down, watched it for a little bit, did my interview, got the hell out of there. So the next day, I'm like, okay, or that evening, I'm like, I'm gonna go back. Sure enough, that buck did come out. Good buck. I don't have any pictures or video of him except for that night. A good 130, 140 class buck, I think he's 4. Looking at, I needed him to take 5 steps and I would have been bucked out for the year. But goose hunters over 500 yards away started picking up their decoys for the night. I mean, they were a long ways away from me, but the way the wind was blowing right from them. And when I don't know if they slammed a decoy together, shut their car door, they did nothing wrong. They probably didn't even know I was hunting. But I heard the noise myself, and it's cleared all the deer from the field. So
when you needed 5 steps, how far was he?
So he was only like 80 yards, but there was a crest of the hill. I could only see his head.
Oh, okay.
So that's why. So
that
I got the
makes
gun.
More sense.
Yeah, I got the gun, and if he takes 5 more steps, he comes off of that crest of the hill. And so he was within range. I was just waiting for him to take 5 steps so I could see his
Okay.
vitals.
Yeah, I thought you just meant he was like just at a distance. You're like,
Oh no.
So you
No,
just smoked a doe at 140 last year.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, no, that wasn't. I just couldn't see his vitals. That was it.
That makes sense now.
Mm-hmm. So anyway, I never saw him again. I hunted there the next day. Saw some does. Didn't see him. I hunted another property on that Saturday. Got skunked, and then Sunday I hunted the same. Went back to the same spot, and I saw some deer, but it was just some does again. Fast forward to this last weekend. Had not went hunting since then. Go out, it was Illinois or Fulton County in particular is late firearm antler season. Go out there. I go out to a spot. I had a buddy that was supposed to come with me. A cop buddy. He's never killed a deer before. So I was gonna bring him out. He bailed on me last second. He said he had a little bit of a cold. Well, sure enough, I told him I'm going to go exactly where I was going to take you. 3 deer come out. I made that one was at 110 yards. I will say this, a little screw up on my part. It was a shed buck. I was very, very surprised. I watched it for 20, 30 minutes, and I did not think it was a buck. I think it was a young buck, year and a half year old. But it did not have a very big body for a buck. It was a big doe. If it was a doe, the only reason I think it shed so early, one of its hoofs was pretty swole up from an injury. So I'm pretty sure that's injury. It's hard saying. There's no outside wounds or anything like that. So I don't know if it got stepped on, broke it at one point in time. I have no idea.
And this is me being green on that with the shed buck. Then do you? You don't have to use a buck tag, right? And it was antler only, so it's just okay.
It's completely legal. Yep, completely legal. So I've done it once before, and actually the funny thing is I did it once before in that same field on that same property about 3 years ago. That's the only place I've ever done that. So it's a property I have permission on that. It's 400 acres, but 20 plus guys have permission on it.
Yeah.
So I don't hunt. I either hunt it early and I hunt it late, which I didn't even hunt it early this year because I pretty much hunt it when nobody else wants to be out there. About the only time I hunt it, when it's super hot, nobody wants to be out there, and then when it gets super cold, nobody wants to be out there. So
did you tell your cop buddy next time take some Dayquil and get your butt out here?
I did. I sent him a picture of the deer. Should have been with me because there's 2 other does out there.
Yeah.
And, we could have definitely done the whole 1, 2, 3 thing. And so anyway, the next day though, he goes with me, and he wants a closer shot, which I didn't. I agree. He's never killed deer. I would love to get a 50-inch shot if possible. So anyway, we get closer, but the problem is when you get closer, the deer are more likely to pick you out. Yeah. And I can't just get in a tree saddle with him. He's brand new, so we're sitting on the ground. This doe comes out 70 yards, 60 to 70, somewhere in there. She's locked onto us right away. And I told him hey man, I told him ahead of time because that was my worry. They're going to come from this corner, but if they're paying attention, they may see us. Put that right on its chest. Well, all I could see, and he was just a little bit to my left. He could see a little bit more than I could. All I could see was his head, and he's like, "Should I take the shot?" And I'm like, "I don't know what you can see. However, she is locked on. If you have a shot, this is probably your only chance." Yeah. And he missed. That's his second time. Once every year. Last year I took him, and now this year, where he's had a difficult shot. I will give him this. Both shots I've gotten him have been difficult shots with the gun. Yeah. And he's whiffed both times. So we're gonna try to get him out.
And all the nerves, man. I get it.
Yep. We're gonna try to get him out. I think it's the 18th, 19th is the last day of deer season in Illinois, and it's the late antler season again. So for CWD season for Fulton County. So we're going to try to get him out again, try to get him his first deer. But we'll see. It's been fun though. But yeah, that's pretty much
fun, man.
That's pretty much my recent deer hunting escapades. I will say this. Good news is, as of 2 or 3 days ago, my shooter buck here on this farm is still alive.
Okay.
So he showed up on camera again. No, I'm just hoping he makes it. At this point in time, I don't think. I think he's actually young. So I kept saying all season, I think he's 4. If I'm being honest with myself, he might only be 3. But I had no other. I had no other shooter to hunt on this farm that I felt comfortable being 4, except for the buck that I ended up missing and my dad killed. So I might have been overestimating this guy. He's 3 or 4. Which either way, so he's gonna be a 4 or 5-year-old. So he should gain quite a bit of muscle mass and ain't bone. I'm hoping he makes it, and it'll be a good one to chase next year.
Yeah.
But yeah. But this year, man, this year's been our best year yet as TBLO.
You guys absolutely crushed it down in Illinois, like mid-October to early November.
Which is
like no joke. Every time you guys would send me a photo, I work with some people who are pretty avid deer hunters, and they hunt mainly up north, and they just the deer don't get that big up there, right? So when I'm showing them pictures of what you guys are shooting in Illinois, their eyes are like this big, like what? Like they were enthralled with how big they were. I was like, what was it? Those 3 big bucks and not even that long of a span.
All in a matter of 7 or 10 days of each other, something like that. So kind of go off of there. We'll kind of skip around here a little bit. So we've never had an October by far. Our October was better than our November, which is crazy to even say that. Let's number one. We'll start off with Brock, who's a new team member. Brock just got on he just joined the team in midsummer. Brock, he's a deputy kind of in like northeastern Illinois. I believe he's hunting Ogle County, but I could be wrong there. It might not be Ogle. Either way, he killed his biggest buck, 168 scoreable buck.
Absolute monster.
Yep.
Rubb's gonna put a picture in like right about here with his.
Yep. That unless something happens, that's going to be the biggest buck of the year. He's going to win the Big Buck Award for TBLO, which is crazy because, like I said, that sets a record for TBLO. We've never done anything. Yeah, just huge. I think he called him Biggles was his nickname for him, which is an appropriate name. So congrats, Brock. Like I said, I'm just going to say it. I think you're probably going to win the award. Congrats to him. That was
so then Brock was the first one, right?
Brock was the first one. He set the tone.
So who was the second?
Me. It was me then on I believe it was the 15th. I'm pretty sure it was the 15th when I shot that one. It was the biggest buck I had on my permission piece. I had some other good bucks, but he was by far the biggest. I would have guessed at the time he was about 150. And I kind of talked about it on a different podcast with Kyle, if I remember right, but I'll kind of do a little shortened version of the game plan. So that buck, and I'll put it up on the screen. I'll probably even put the kill shot on the screen so you guys can watch it.
Right here.
So yeah, somewhere here right on the screen. And
now you got to do it.
Now I got to.
Yeah.
So essentially, I was hunting a pick bean field. I had this deer on different cameras throughout September, October, and my plan was I got out there early enough. I was going to walk to each of my 3 stands that I could hunt on this wind and pull every single camera and check it right then and there. And if I had whatever I had the most active footage, I was going to hunt it. But then if I didn't pick the first spot and didn't pick the second spot, I was going to hunt the last spot no matter what. So I checked the first spot. He hadn't been there for like a week. I checked the second spot. It had been like 4 days, 5 days, old nighttime. And then the third spot, I'm like, well, I'm just going to hunt it. And I had just redone that spot over the summertime. I went in like late July when it was super hot, cleared path. Actually moved I moved the stand from the tree I was on to a different tree because that tree had died. Put the camera up, did all the prep work, and it definitely paid off. He had been there 2 days prior before the beans got picked. So what I think happened, there's a big scrape there. I think he went in, he freshened that scrape, then they picked the beans. Well, all that bean dust and all that stuff, obviously getting kicked up, covered that scrape up, and we had a cold front coming in that day. So one of those October cold fronts we all talk about. So what I think happened is he knew, hey, that bean's been picked. I need to freshen up that scrape. Plus it's cold, so it's getting him up on the feet early. And he came out with 15 minutes left to spare of daylight and fucking whacked him. And I have been super impressed with Rack broadheads. I was the new HXP head. I did not put a good shot on that deer. I pulled the shot to the right, and the deer spun. It was super dead quiet out, and I think he just knew something was up and heard it. Plus, like I said, I was already back some. My shot entered his back hip and went all the way through his body into – I wasn't 100% sure if it went to his offset shoulder or his brisket. Either way, it did not penetrate that. But, I mean, it just tore up all of his insides. Kyle and I – he made it. Oh, man, I don't have to look. He made it 200 or 300 yards. I think it was 300 yards he made it, but we were walking the blood the whole time. It was nuts. It was not a hard, difficult blood trail to follow at all. And when I gutted him, all the guts have been punctured. And then, I mean, there's just blood everywhere. So I think I hit it.
So fantastic.
Yeah. Honestly, I didn't care
at that moment.
I didn't care. Yeah, if you watch it again, I'll play it here. You can. Kyle's wife was making fun of Kyle and I. You just see me freak the fuck out. I just freak out. I had to hug Kyle and stuff. I was just losing my mind. So thank you to Kyle for helping me, because that would have been a sucky track job without him, and I would have gave up. I would have backed off and went the next morning to look for him. Because I was getting worried, which I did, obviously, who knows, then maybe Kyle's would have got to him, maybe the meat would have gone bad, anything like that. And I didn't need to do that. That deer was dead.
Shout out to you, Kyle. Way to push Cody to keep going.
Yeah, appreciate Kyle. So yeah, I was super pumped with the HXP head, and that buck actually was about 10 inches bigger. Yeah, 10 points, 10 inches bigger than what I thought. So like I said, I was guessing him to be 150. To be 100% fair, it scores a 159 and 6/8. As my uncle, who is a taxidermist, retired official scorer, he says I can find 2 8s. That's a 160 deer. So I'm going to say 160.
Oh yeah. So, yep. So is that your biggest archery kill?
By far, biggest deer. Wow. Yep. So my biggest before that was a 140. So I, 20 and though that would have been, that just pumped. So that was pumped in general. And then 2 days later, Mr. Cody Gravitt got it done. With
tall, dude.
Tall, and that one was just shy of 160. What did he say? I think it was 158. I think.
Sure, it wasn't just 2 8s short of 160.
Yeah, you're kidding, right? Yeah. Listen, my podcast, my rules, it was smaller than mine. That's what I'm saying. So you heard it here first, Cody. Damn it. But yeah, man, it was nuts. Within a week and a half time frame, we got three deer down, and all three of them would have been before the season the biggest bucks of TBLO, because Steve had the record at that buck last year was like right at 150. It was right at 150.
Yeah.
But
yeah, that was just an exciting time span, dude. Like when I tell you, like every day, like it felt like every day I was like, look at this one, guys. Look at this one, guys. Look at this one, guys. And then I would share some, like the trail camp. I was like, well, look at that one. It's over there. Look at that one up there. Yeah, he's huge, isn't he? Oh, and you could have had 2.
I could have had 2.
Had 2.
And we still haven't got him scored yet. I'm going to guess he's going to be around the 150 mark. I don't think he's as big as the one I killed. But he was a bigger body, though. He was bigger bodied.
Yeah.
And maybe even older and just junky, man. I got a nice, typical deer is what I got. That's the one, that one's old junky and stuff. And what I get so mad about, and I know I don't know if I've talked about this on the podcast. So that deer there, and I'll play it too. It's all the footage is great. I did a great job with the footage. Like the
Camera
footage is
footage is
great.
fantastic.
Yeah,
A
shooting.
plus on that part.
Yeah, shooting F. But,
Not good. Not good.
Yeah. So my plan was to
Tell
go
us
hunt
what
with
happened,
Nate.
Cody.
Yeah. So my plan was to go hunt with Nate and Garrett. We had made that plan the night before. We were going to go to hunt our lease. I wake up the next morning. I have a new buck on camera. It's that buck. And he's chasing a doe to the south on the neighbors. And so I tell Garrett and Nate, I think I know what this buck's going to do. Sorry, you guys are on your own.
Yeah.
I'm going to go kill this buck. And they go, we understand. No problem. And this deer's bigger than any of the deer we have on the lease property that they were going to. Dude, I couldn't have set myself up any better. Like my whitetail strategy, A plus. Like I did everything right. Like and that was another thing. I took the time to set up that stand earlier throughout the season. And it was beautiful, the whole setup.
I got right. You had the intel right, weather
everything.
right.
Everything, man. Anyway, I got deer on me minute it breaks daylight. Little bucks, saw a couple does. And next, I see right in front of me, coming from the neighbors, coming from the thicket. I knew where that buck was probably at. I see a doe just hauling ass towards me. And I know, like, oh, there's something big behind her. And I just see him. And as soon as I saw him, I'm like, yep, that's him. Grab my bow, get the cameras ready. He comes by me at 10 yards, and I'm can't get a shot off. He doesn't stop at all. Well, he chased that doe, does a big circle, comes back around.
And how much time did it take for him to go in that big circle?
Less than a minute.
Okay, I wasn't sure. Yeah.
Yeah, I could see him the whole time doing it. So
you were already drawn back still.
So I let down. I did let down after he went back the first time. And I'm like, okay, here he comes. And anyway, he comes. I stop, and where he stopped at, so I'm pulled back and my pin's on him. And I know exactly the mistake I made. Pin's on him, but there's a twig. Like where my pin's on the twig. If I could shoot that through the twig, it'd be on him. So I'm like, shit. So is he going to? My thought was, is he going to take the extra 2 or 3 steps to give me a shot, or is he going to blow? Is he going to go the other way? So I realized if I just crouch, I clear that limb because it's just one little limb.
Yeah,
I know. So I pins on him. My face comes off as I crouch to look. I never put my face back on it, and reestablish the pin. I knew I was on the vitals, but obviously when I crouch, my pin must have came up, obviously. And I didn't have a good anchor. So, it's like, and I just fired it. And I thought it was a clean miss, 100% thought it was a clean miss. Played back the footage. So I actually skimmed his back because my arrow had fat and just a touch of blood on it. And I watched him. I should clarify. I watched him for another 3 minutes after I shot. He almost came back, and I almost got a second shot. He came back within 40 yards. If the autumn olive tree had been trimmed, which I would never trim it because I'd never think a deer would be there, I could have shot him again. With a gun, I 100% could have shot him multiple times if I had a gun.
Yeah.
And then another buck came in with him. That was probably about a 130, and they chased the doe into the bedding behind me. So according to research, a whitetail buck will be with a doe when they first find them in heat, 48 to 72 hours. So I'm texting, I pretty much can tell from trail cam. The first trail cam picture I got him the night before, he did not have a doe with him. The next picture I had in the food plot, he had the doe with him. So I pretty much knew he found that doe around 3 a.m. in the morning, give or take. So I'm texting my dad.
Now.
I know, right? I text my dad. I'm like, he's in the bedding area behind us. More than likely, what most deer do, they either go north or they go south. Well, I'm hunting the south side, and he's going to go wherever that doe takes him. So my dad's going to hunt the north side, and we kind of agree we're going to hunt him for the next 2 days. He's going to hunt the north. I'm going to hunt the south. We'll see what happens. Well, the very next evening, he went north. And Dad smoked him. So Yeah, Dad smoked them. Died in the
Oh,
field.
Robbie.
Yep. So he had to show me up. He had to avenge me. So I can't. I still got my hands on him, so that was nice.
You made my son upset. I must
Uh,
end you.
yeah, it was good to get that closure,
Yeah.
because I'll be honest, I was beating myself up for 24 hours, like beat myself, and I think I sent to the group as soon as I got back from that morning hunt. Um, it was 22-yard shot. I marked off my target at 22 yards. Thunk, vital, perfect. I'm like,
Just
it was me.
dead on.
Wasn't the bow. Yeah, it wasn't
Dead
the
on.
bow. Um,
But did you ever
so
really think it was the bow?
no,
No.
I knew pretty much right away. I'm like, I think I know what they did, and sure enough, looking back at the footage, yeah.
But you had
So
to
yeah,
scratch that itch to make sure.
yeah,
Just to make
yeah,
sure.
yep,
I get
yep,
you.
yep. So, but yeah, no, that was no. Other than that, Buck, Burton, but Buck we call him. He killed a
Yeah.
good deer. My brother, we'll have him on the podcast sometime, but he had a interesting Iowa deer season. It'll be coming out in this very next vlog, so it'll be coming out this Sunday after this podcast comes out. Our brother did kill an Iowa buck after he missed two. And essentially what happened there is he went out and bought a brand new Matthews lift. If you know, you know, but the Matthew lifts in some variations, their limbs were cracking. My brother did not know that. And it was only in certain allotments, serial numbers, whatever. Well, brother came back to visit during the rut. He brought his bow just to shoot. And I'm like, hey, have you ever checked on your limbs? And he goes, no, I didn't know this was a problem. Me being the archery and hunting nerd, I knew all about it. I'm like, well, let me see your bow. And I look at him like, yeah, man, your limbs are splitting. Sure enough, he looked at it. He took it to Shields, is where he bought it. They're like, yeah, no, I'm surprised his bow hasn't blown up on you yet. And so in the middle of the rut, he had to go, his nice fancy bow, he had to go get it fixed. So then he was using his old bear bow, which his last animal he had killed with that was the black bear from the spring, and he had not shot it since. Well, of course, the next day he gets a shot opportunity with his bear bow without practicing really. Shoots over its back. Spends the next day or two really shooting his bow, getting it backed out in. He then, a week later or so, gets another opportunity, hits a twig. And then that same morning, like an hour later, he had the buck he kills comes in and he makes a good shot. So that'll be all on camera this next vlog.
Can't wait to see that.
Yep. So it was funny. He's had an interesting season, but he was happy to get a good Iowa buck down.
Yeah. Now in Iowa, you only get one buck tag, right?
No, he gets, because they do it a little differently. If you have landowners, you can get land, which he's not a landowner, and then he can get a gun tag too. So, yeah,
So
since he's a resident, since he's a resident, you can take. But if you're a landowner, you can kill 3.
Gotcha.
So he did not get an opportunity with a good buck with a gun. But then he helped. I don't think it's on camera. Yeah, I know it's not. He helped a buddy kill his first deer during gun season. So
awesome.
that was good. So again, kind of what we talked about, kind of our mission, get other people in the outdoors. He was able to get somebody the first deer. John from Wisconsin. He's been really getting his family members out. That's going to be on the next.
His family's been crushing it.
Yep, man, they've been putting the does down.
Yeah,
hurting on the does, and then they had some luck with the bucks in the beginning.
Right. Was that in October too?
Yeah, his family was the bucks in October. Bucks, family and friends.
October.
I'm trying to think. I'm missing any other bucks other than Ryan. Obviously, shot his.
On that sacred piece of land in Mercer County.
You miss it?
I do.
Yep.
I do. Because again, you put so much work and effort into it, and you learn the ins and outs of it, and you can wake up and say, all right, this is how the wind is today. I'm going to go hunt this spot. I know this is what they're going to be doing. I mean, you walked it for the very first time with us. Good memories. We spent a lot of time on that piece. So, but now I'm excited to have something up here to do the same thing with.
Yep.
And now my boys are old enough I can walk them
Yeah.
through it.
Yeah, that'll be cool. I think that's pretty much our deer season. The only other
Yeah.
things to really talk about from last year, number one, we do the annual hog hunt. It was a blast as always. Got my first recurve kill. Got charged. It was fun. I can't wait to do it again. We went bear hunting again. And that might unfortunately be our last time with the outfitter. He's in poor health, unfortunately. But we had a blast as per usual. Just love going up and hunting bear in Canada. We did the fishing trip. That's where we got 2 team members joined after that. And then the shows, man. The shows are getting bigger and bigger for us every year.
Yeah.
We're growing as a brand. I think so. We hit 1,000, I think, late 2023, and we're almost at 2,000. We're fastly approaching. Let's see where we are right now at the time of this podcast. Yep. So we are, as of right now, we are 37. Nope, 27. Can't count. We are 27 away from hitting 2,000. So 2 grand subscribers. So appreciate all that. All the other social media is growing as well.
Yeah.
So 2024 is a great year for us. We have 18 team members now. We grew definitely.
Yeah, we are definitely growing.
And with more people wanting to join.
We introduced coffee this year.
We did. That's a big one, which we'll just go right into the 2025, what you guys can expect from the brand coming this year. Obviously, more coffee. I'm going to be placing an order here soon with Ed from Our Grounds. I was very happy with the Patoros, still very happy with it. I have not heard any complaints from anybody yet.
So good.
Yep.
So
And what I'm kind of excited about, Jesse knows me, I'm a coffee snob. And I've introduced
now
now
the coffee snob.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys remember the only one to do real life, average Joe coffee reviews during the hunting ground was me. Here's my Thornton's cup. Here's my Casey's cup. Not here's my French vanilla Jamaican bean that I cracked up this morning at 4:30 before I went out.
It was funny too. I think your Thornton one might have been our highest putting grind that year. Yeah. Just funny.
Hey, I gave an honest Thornton's review. It was not good.
But yeah, no. So we're keeping that going. So I'm happy to. We definitely introduce gourmet coffee to some other people because they're trying it just because of us. Let's see. We'll be back in Iowa at the Iowa Deer Classic, Illinois Deer Classic, and the Illinois Deer and Beer Fest whenever that's announced. Couple things. We're trying always to upgrade, our videos or our apparel line. Number one, I'm going to have new apparel designs. I'm working on that now. I definitely think my screen printing has gotten better. Just over reps and time. But one complaint I've heard is a lot of people don't like the heat adhesive, especially my Wisconsin people, because cold weather, the heat adhesive does not like it. Proud to say, and I'm going to have to teach myself how to do it, but we have a stitching machine coming. So no more heat adhesive. All our hats will be stitched. We might do heat adhesive every now and then for beanies. I haven't really heard too many issues with the beanies.
Oh, the beanies work well. It's hats. These kind of hats.
Correct. Yeah. So we're going to be, again, all heat or all stitch here soon. So
don't sew your fingers to anything, Boom.
Huh?
Don't sew your fingers to anything.
Yeah.
I could see your beginning stage.
Good thing my wife is a nurse, soon to be nurse practitioner, so she can fix me up.
And she'd probably enjoy doing it too.
Probably cussing me the whole time, like, you're an idiot. Why did you do this? Blah 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 blah. So
what do you mean you didn't read the manual? What do you mean?
Mm-hmm. Yep. So upgrading all our merch. Hopefully this summer we're going to be having some fishing jerseys, kind of like what Jesse's wearing right now. So be representing that. For hunts this year, honestly, we don't have anything too big planned, and I don't think there will be anything too big planned this year. Actually, take that back. There might be one big thing planned, but it won't be with Jesse and I. It's with Ryan, hopefully. So number one, we got the hawk hunt in February. We're doing that again. Me and some guys are going down there taking some bunch of cops with me. Should be fun. We got to work out the details for our fishing trip, but I think we're going to be going salmon fishing again. And then hopefully Ryan and the crew will be able to go to Montana finally this year. So I do take that back. We might have one big trip with Ryan. So hopefully Ryan will have luck with that and we can live through him.
Dude, he's been talking about Tana forever.
Mm-hmm.
Forever.
So partner-wise, we're still obviously Outgrounds, still partnered with Outgrounds. Appreciate them. Dominant Strands, still our bowstring of choice and bow shop of choice if you're in West Central Illinois. Let's see. RackGetters, we're using RackGetters still this year, all this year.
Mr. Rubb.
Mr. Rubb. Mr. Rubb, I hope we're going to see him in Iowa. So we got all their
I just
here.
finished the last of my flavor enhancer, and I'm very sad about it. And I'm going to have to put an order in. And that for more chili. It's officially chili season. So I got to stock up on that.
Gonna have to get more. And then I feel like I'm missing somebody other than our new one. I was going to save that to the end. Maybe I'm not.
I don't think you are.
I don't think I am. So
then, if we are, we're very sorry.
Yeah, no kidding.
We're going to figure it out.
Yeah,
it's the day before New Year's Eve. This is
exactly
difficult time for everybody to remember things.
Yeah, but I'll just say announcing our new partner, 365 Thermal, kind of based out of the Macomb area here in Illinois. Wade, I knew Wade from back in the day at the Part-Time Police Academy is where I first met him at. But he's kind of done his own thing in life and has started his, business now. He's a thermal distributor, so he's not making his own thermals or anything like that, but he's working with other thermal companies, tripod companies, call companies, stuff like that, and he's being a distributor through them. I already bought my thermal through him, decided to get out there. Last year was the first time I ever went hunting with Kyle's using thermals. I went with Ryan and Kyle, and then I went with Jacob Woods from Coal Creek Outdoors. Had a blast. I'm diving down that rabbit hole now. We're going to have a lot more predator hunting this year.
I think Ryan's going to come up again. He came up last year for one, but I think I got some more permission to take care of some yotes up here. So
sweet. So you're gonna have we're gonna have an episode eventually with Ryan and Jesse. I'm sure Ryan's probably gonna come with me sometime ago. I'll be out there hunting as well. I know we're gonna have a lot of footage. It sounds like we already got a lot from Koss, Jason, the Polish Hammer. Best way to just call him the Polish Hammer, and Southern Illinois. Awesome. Yeah, he's been knocking them dead. So,
Hey, what thermal did you go with?
So I went with the AGM Rattler V2, and it's not their cheapest model. It's the next one. It's and I don't remember on top of my head. So 100%, guys, and this is kind of the reason why I did it. I went with a budget thermal. It cost me $1,000. That's what it was. It was $1,000, and that's a budget one, which is crazy to me. That's a budget one. Yeah.
I'm just imagining if I walked upstairs right now, said, "Darling, I bought myself a thermal, but don't worry, it's the budget thermal." She says, "Well, how much is it? $1,000." She ain't gonna say that's a budget thermal.
Well, luckily, I again appreciate you guys with helping us out with the merch this year. Merch helped pay for not all of it. Didn't pay for all of it. A lot of that came out of my own pocket, overtime money, but I did pay for part of it. So the brand bought it, Again, I'm excited. I haven't put it on my gun yet. Got it sighted in and all that good stuff. So excited to get out there. And I think it's going to be a fun winter season, trying to kill some yotes and raccoons. I got a lot of raccoon problems. So, that was
stuff.
All my chickens are gone. I have no chickens. So, yeah.
So, no lie, my boys still talk about the day when we went out to your property.
Mm-hmm.
And shot a raccoon that was in the trap. And they're like, well, why? And we had to, we're explaining the whole process. And every time we talk about it, my middle one will go, it's because it was eating the chickens. It's just
exactly.
So it's like
exactly.
It's hilarious how he says it and everything is like almost like fuck them raccoons. They're eating the chickens. We gotta take them out.
Perfect. That's how I feel about raccoons. I hate them. Well, Jesse, I really don't have anything else. Do you have any parting words before I close it out?
I hope I get a deer Saturday.
I hope for you.
Very excited about everything that happened in 2024. Even if I didn't contribute much to the killing of the whitetail. It was an exciting season, and I can't wait for 2025, man.
Yep, agreed. We should both start working out our arm muscles for the fishing season.
Oh my
So,
god!
yeah, I was
What kind of
sore for
workout
like a
you
week
gonna
after
do,
that. Don't worry. I gotta get off her. It's getting late, boys and girls. It's getting late. Well, on that note, we're gonna make sure you like, subscribe, and all that good stuff. And I do want to give a shout out and special thanks to all the team members, man. Like I said, I never thought we would have this many team members. Having so much content that I have to go through and stuff now is a good problem to have. And again, appreciate all the support from all the team members and fans. And we're going to keep going out there, doing what we love, hunting, fishing, and getting other law enforcement officers and just people in general into the outdoors. So other than that, be safe out there. Have a good one. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.